No way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
What is up, guys? Let me know if you guys can hear me. I am a tech retard popping in for another morning stream, which is a bit bittersweet because, for one, it means I get to spend a little bit more time with you guys. On the flip side, it means I'm not working again today. This hurricane's really fucking my shit up. It'd be cool if they get it together. Yeah, but a lot of people are suffering. I can't complain too much. Surprisingly, my property didn't get hit that bad. I know some people, I don't know if they were talking in the chat yesterday for this or if it was already dead from last night, were saying they were having issues. So I believe Fire Pixie she's someone in the chat. Yeah, Fire Pixie, if you do need help out there and you need me to boost in some way, let me know. I saw someone was sharing around your Venmo or something. But yeah, there are people out there. It has been a little bit insulting in how this was treated. Not that I'm, you guys know me, I'm like the ANCAP, agorist, libertarian, whatever, if you want to go into labels. So I'm not necessarily advocating some, welfare project, but it is a little wild when, World War III seems to be popping off and no one gives a shit about the hurricane people, so the domestic stuff. So, that's where this whole America First thing comes in. If we're going to have the conversation, if we're going to be assisting people post-hurricanes or whatever, or just stop taking their money so people have more of an ability to take care of themselves in these situations. Either way, point being, it is wild when you see them talking about sending money to Ukraine or Israel or what have you. It's like, well, I guess we'll just go fuck ourselves, huh? I guess we'll get into that. It's kind of wild how this timeline has worked out. For those who pay attention at all, no, obviously Iran's popped off against Israel, sent over, someone says, asked if I could turn up the volume. Let me check. Let me see. I was going the wrong way with it. Is that better? Is that better for you? I don't know if I was up all the way before, but let me know. Yeah, Rich says, yeah, man, the hurricane fucked up the East Coast, and then that union fuck shutting down the ports. That's wild. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the union. I had some people asking about that. By the way, for the Tower Gang patrons, we made, in the Telegram, we made a little separate little slot, or whatever you want to call it, that for suggestions for this. Because, if you have, articles or whatever, stuff for me to go over during this, things that would fit the vibe of what I usually cover, throw it in there, and that'll be something I would consider covering for you Tower Gang people. Now, I think for my patrons, I'll probably need to talk to the other Tower Gang guys and figure out how the hell I can set it up so that maybe my patrons can get access to Telegram too, so that way they have access to that, because I don't really feel like making a whole Telegram for myself. But either way, in the meantime, For the Tower Gang folks, you have that option. For my patrons out there, my paying customers, let me know if that's something you're interested in, that you want access to the Telegram. I mean, hell, at the very least on an individual basis, I should be able to make it happen. And that'll just kind of give you a little repository place to put stuff for me to cover in there. But yeah, okay, volume is and was fine, says someone. Okay, well, all right. I'm sorry. Well, Dylan, if that's on you, then maybe you just got to turn it down a little bit. I don't know what to tell you. It might be the garage as opposed to anything else. But yeah, someone says, nigga, you deaf. You probably beat it to death, but your OKC knowledge is pretty impressive. Oh, thank you. I don't know if they're referring to something recently, like maybe like where I talked about it yesterday. And then Alan says, yeah, Telegram isn't safe anymore. They're saving your chats to give them the FBI. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not even really using Telegram for any sort of, I don't know, safety reasons. It just seems to be a convenient place for the purposes of a chat group for patrons, basically. I don't know. Oh, someone said I talked about it a few weeks back. Yeah, I don't know specifically what you're referring to. Maybe it was on like Grey Pilled or something. I don't know. Every once in a while I talk about it, whether it's on my show or someone else's show, so it's kind of hard to keep track. But yeah, I think the most recent was Grey Pilled, where I went on his show. I was considering posting that up on my account. I just kind of was being lazy and just haven't got around to it. Plus, I've been doing all these other streams, so it's not like I really need to add content to my platforms. But yeah, if you go over to Grey Pilled, you can, is this going to be the thing? I see, everyone says, show us your kitties. Is that going to be the thing now? Is that going to be like the good mornings for David, or Raven over on, Timeline Cleanse? Is that what it's going to be? Everyone says, show your kitties. I don't know. Keep an eye out. That's what you guys should do. You guys should have some sort of thing in the chat when you see a kitty behind me. Some sort of, I don't know, maybe a kitty tower or something. But, yeah. So I see everyone rolling in here. Let me know what you guys think of these midday streams. I think it's kind of cool. I can kind of just grab a few different little things, go over the things of the day. But anyways, back to the Israel stuff. It was pretty wild, the timeline. Because, yeah, we talked about this yesterday. We talked a lot about Israel yesterday on the show. We kind of covered what looked like escalations, and wouldn't you know it, it did fucking escalate shit. Clearly, it popped off, like, it seemed to be right after. I had saved a to cover on the show, and I don't remember if I think this might have been actually after the show. I saved a Dave DeCamp article that was something along the lines of like, U.S. seems to think that there's going to be a strike from, Iran against Israel or something like that. And then the post was something along the lines of, keep in mind, and I'm not ridiculing this for them at all. I'm just saying it's kind of weird how it worked out. They're like, keep in mind, this could be a precedent for a preemptive strike, which is true. I mean, anytime someone says, oh, they're going to hit us, it's like, well, I don't know. Should I really believe you? And this time, yeah, no, they did. So that's what happened. We'll get into that in a little bit. I do want to, I guess, kind of start off on a better note. I have this kind of, it was a bigger deal, I believe, earlier this week, and it just feels like it's been breezed over. I just found this could be cool for my theory guys. We got, I believe his name's like Makano or something. He won, it was most recent fight night, I believe. Was it most recent, or what is today? Wednesday? I'm losing track. Yeah, I think it was Saturday. There was the fights, and they had the fight night, and Makano was the main event. And this dude had this to say. This will excite my fellow theory nerds.
Fuck Macron, fuck all globalists, fuck all these motherfucking globalists. They're trying to push a political and corrupt agenda. If you want about politics and economy, I advise you, read Why Democracy, the God that failed us. Hans Hermann Hoppe. And I hope you understand that democracy is a fallacy. Democracy is not the real government. So, please, read Hans Hoppe and understand why the world is going crazy like that today. Thank you so much, French.
All right, yeah, that's pretty dope. Let me say like that out of that. That was dope. I very much appreciate that. You guys know I'm a big, if you've been following the channel long enough, you know I'm a big Hoppe fan. Here's Democracy, the God That Failed. I actually, for those who've been following for a good while, know that I actually have a series where me and Toad were doing a live reading series of it. We never finished it because, wouldn't you know, that's Democracy God That Failed. It requires a shitload of parts. So I think we got don't think we got quite to 20, but I want to say we got over 15. So if anyone is interested in that, let us know, and maybe I might resume that at some point, pick back up where we left off, and continue into it. It seems, I guess it's still got interest out there. I mean, it's a great book, Democracy, the God That Failed. For those who aren't aware, the main premise in that is kind of arguing that, democracy sucks ass and monarchy is better. Although, for the midwits out there, just a subtle reminder that the point isn't that monarchy is supreme, it's just that it's better than democracy. His ultimate case is for anarcho-capitalism, so he actually just wants every man to be a king type deal, but he does think a king is preferable to what we're dealing with democracy, and I actually agree. I know a lot of people like to pussyfoot around that, but I agree. I mean, I just genuinely think. I know a lot of people point to England as an counter example, and I don't think it's a proper counter example. They've been a God, what was it? What's it called? What do they call their fucking, not Congress? It's not an actual monarchy. It's been a fucking. The kings have delegated their power forever now. It's not a straight up monarchy. I forget what the fuck they call that. I don't know how I brain farted. It's pretty normal political type. Someone might be able to think of it out there. But yes, they're not like a standard democracy, or not democracy, monarchy. It's definitely a little bit more complicated than that. Pop in the chat, see what's going on. Yeah, everyone's asking about the kitties. Oh yeah, and on this Hoppe talk, I did find it interesting for those of my libertarian nerds out there. I guess Hoppe just recently, and if anyone wants it, I can send you the video if you hit me up. I watched it last night. It's about 20 minutes long. It's Hoppe kind of gave his refutation of Milei. For those who are aware of Milei, the dude over there in Argentina, when he came in on the scene, he was flouting that he was all about Mises, Rothbard, Hoppe. He's even proposed Hoppe as being an inspiration, and Hoppe, as such, felt that it was proper for him to kind of address him. And it seems like there's some libertarians that are upset about Hoppe's take, but his take is about what I would have guessed it to be. Judging by a lot of the actions Milei has made, I mean, I think you can make the case that he is a preferable politician than other politicians, and maybe even good comparably generally, but I think if you're grading on the scale of this guy is supposedly an anarcho-capitalist who, is hip to Rothbard and Hoppe, then I think he fails to meet the bar. For example, when it comes to Rothbard, Hoppe brought up good examples about how Rothbard is very good when it comes to revisionist history. So if you're a student of Rothbard, you are well inundated in the world of revisionist history. And there's been many times, which I don't have any examples offhand, it seems like this Milei guy seems to take the general view. So, and that's kind of what Hoppe says. He seems to have a high schooler's understanding of history in the sense of the general, 3x5 card type shit, essentially. Someone's asking about my TV. I don't even know what inch size the TV that is. I don't really care. I hardly watch TV. Also, I just think it looks smaller from that. I have a pretty damn big entertainment center. There's no way that's 32. That'd only be 3 feet. Yeah, that's not a 3-footer. That's way too small. Maybe. Actually, yeah, probably is a 3-footer. Who fucking cares? I don't know. I'm not a guy that's like, oh, look at my big TV. If I want to have a big TV, I could have a big TV. Oh shit, you threw me off. But yes, I do think Milei doesn't seem to really know his shit when it comes to that. Now, economics, maybe a little bit different story, but then Hoppe kind of, essentially pointed out some flaws. I'd say go check it out. He still says he definitely would prefer him to most people. He pointed out, why is this guy so chummy with, the United States and stuff, and I get to some extent you want to have good relations, but it goes a little bit further than that. Look at his relations with Israel, with us. I don't know. If you're trying to flout yourself as an ANCAP, you fail to hit the mark. That's all I'm saying. And I guess if you're coming in like that, I kind of have a little bit of a higher standard. Although, the baby bathwater, that type thing, that's not to say there isn't good stuff to be had there. All right. Let's get into the talk of the town. I brought this up on this summation, but I'm going to use it again just because I feel like it's the best one. I mean, whatever. I know a lot of people don't like fucking Fuentes. I don't give a shit. This came across my timeline, and I thought it was probably the best quick little summary. Just kind of so you guys, have the factual what happened. Iran has launched over 400 ballistic missiles at Israel in several waves. IRGC declares this is a response to the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, and IRGC General Abbas that one's fucking rough. Nilfarashan. All right, I think I might have got that. So yeah, that's the basics of it. I mean, I could show you videos that'd be a little more flashy. That's the information of what happened. I mean, anyone's been following along in this. Well, I want to be very clear. I don't agree with Iran's actions here, but I get it. I mean, this, I don't know how long, Iran was expected and, just all these Middle Eastern countries to continue taking humiliation after humiliation without any sort of return. I mean, don't get me wrong, I prefer they didn't, because I mean, what did we really get out of this? I think it's generally, obviously, I'm sure, possibly some innocence. Although I want to say the reporting on this I've heard is, according to Israel, they're saying really low numbers. I mean, don't get me wrong, any dead civilian is an issue. But point being is it seemed to be more of just kind of a shot across the bow, just kind of like a, hey, what's up, don't fuck around. That was kind of the impression. But I don't know. Point being is, I prefer this didn't happen, but it did. So I'm not supporting it, but the point being is it's fucking, who's surprised? I mean, if we're playing by, the rules of countries when it comes to war, I'm sorry, Iran, I mean, I guess we could get into the specifics of what specifically they targeted or whatever, but in the same breath, it's like, if we're doing that, it's like, now you get into this comparing game, and obviously one war crime doesn't make it justify another war crime, but it's like, you kind of really can't cry war crime when the other side is doing war crimes. I mean, I guess in a certain sense you sort of can, but point being is if you're comparing the two, putting it in this binary sense, yeah, it doesn't make sense there. But yeah, I don't know. This is unfortunate. I don't know what's going to unfold from this. But yeah, I mean, everyone's already posturing, freaking out. All right, I'm going to go through the chat real quick. Let me see what you guys have to say. I missed a few. Can you see me? People asking about the kitty still. Tucker disappointed me so much with his Israel ball washing on his recent episode about the debate. No way. Tucker is gargling Israel balls? I did not know that. I'd be interested to see that. He seemed like he's been a little bit more pushing the pail or pushing the envelope there. So I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm just taking one chat off of that. So I'd be interested to see, expand on that and see what exactly he's saying there. I don't know. Like, see your kitties. Hi, all. I'm Kelly in Prescott, Arizona. That hurricane was weather warfare just days before North Carolina troops were deployed to effing Kuwait. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I'm not saying you're wrong. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't really know. The guy that he wanted to convert to Judaism isn't perfect. Yeah. That's, frankly, honestly, that is one of the biggest not even the Judaism thing. Whatever. Judaism's fine. It was all the Wailing Wall. I don't know. There was a lot way back when. I'm just saying. Let me see. Nick Fuentes, the guy who told January 6th protesters to storm the Capitol. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying I like the guy. I just thought that was a good summation. I don't know. He's got pretty good takes, generally speaking. I don't necessarily agree with this. A lot of times what he prescribes to be the antidote or the solution to problems, but he's usually pretty good at least identifying the issue, I think. Don't get me wrong. There's things that I definitely would not agree with him here and there, and I don't know. I know what you're getting at. Fed thing. I don't know. I don't know if he's a Fed. I don't have a strong opinion on that. It wouldn't really surprise me either way. I don't know. It's one of those things I really could argue either way. But all right. I'm going to show you real quick kind of how all these people are acting. The inevitable breakdowns occurred. Well, I guess not breakdown. That's the wrong word for it. Inevitable posturing of, oh my God, Israel. We got Representative Matt Gaetz here. The terror raining down on Israel is unjustified and unacceptable. Iran has persistently spread violence in the Middle East to the detriment of all of its neighbors and its own citizens. America stands with Israel in this battle of good versus evil, which I will say a little bit disappointing for Gates. He's generally one of those guys who seems to be better than, on the better side of things, although he's never really quite good, if that makes sense. But, whatever, that's kind of, if anything, that's more, pushes to the idea that this guy is probably controlled op or something. I don't know. Maybe he's just a dupe. It's hard to tell. He was the guy that recently went on Part of the Problem, and he was also boasting just kind of around that he supposedly had heard information from Intel or something along those lines that pointed towards that Iran had something to do with these last two assassination attempts. So, based on FBI or the FBI or CIA told me so, or whoever it was, okay, you can fucking, you may as well not even be saying words. It means nothing to me. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong, could be true, but if there was ever any sort of we'll take their word for it. Yeah, that's long gone. That's long gone. Maybe use it as a minor indicator towards possibly something being the case, but even then, if anything, you're better off using these guys. The intel agency says so as a contraindicator. Is this probably means the opposite. Obviously that's not going to be perfect every time, but I think usually it'll probably stray you closer to the side of truth than believing them will. So, I don't know. Yeah, he's the guy who's pushing that around. Some Fed told me so. Yep. We need to be really. Iran did it, which. I don't know. I'm going to have Ken on, what's today? Wednesday? Today's Wednesday, yeah. So tomorrow, that'll be behind the paywall. So if you want to get that early, patreon.com, it's just NoWayJose2020. That'll be tomorrow around 9:30. I'll live stream it to my patrons. Obviously, patrons don't have to watch the live stream. They can watch it later. But, that'll be, you guys can check that out. I'll have Ken on. We'll be kind of, I had him on a while ago. We talked about all the stuff with the first assassination attempt. And so now we're going to kind of talk more about the first one, kind of following up on it, probably talk about the second one as well. And then, more specifically, I really do want to hone in on this idea of to what degree does Iran have any feasibility of having culpability in these. It just seems ridiculous on its face. But yeah, I would highly recommend you guys go check out the Part of the Problem with Matt Gaetz. It's only a half hour long. Dave goes in there and he it is pretty. If you listen to Dave question him, and I will say Dave didn't hammer him or embarrass him or anything, but he was just very what Dave's saying in that exchange. He's saying hey, you just want me to believe you? And I don't know, they just kind of moved on. It was a short one. I'm assuming Dave probably had limited time. That's how these work with anytime you have some super duper hoity-toity big guest. They're going to be I only got 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. I'm assuming he was no different. But yeah, so anyways, point being is it's everyone's America stands with Israel. We stand with Israel. Oh, this is good versus evil. It's just fucking brain rot, really. This is retarded. I'm sorry. I don't know, trying to sell this to someone. I don't know, maybe I don't have a good read on conservatives out there, but trying to sell this good versus evil, Israel is the angel, we'll always support Israel, and trying to push this to conservatives generally, I just don't feel like they're buying. This just seems too dumb. It feels like the public consciousness has gone past this for the most part, but I might be wrong. I just struggle to believe that people can be talked down like this. The idea that we're just going to think that it's just this simplistic war, it's the same thing with the Russia and the Ukraine. Everyone goes, well, Russia invaded, so therefore Ukraine good guy, and we must support Ukraine, and we must blah blah blah. And I don't know. It's just retarded. It's just childish the way it's framed. Sure, maybe you could make some sort of argument that you think Israel is justified in this way or that way. I will say, I did quote tweet this and make fun of it. I will say, I will give him, at least he's not cucked enough to say it was unprovoked. That would be the real spit in the eye, is if he said this was unprovoked. To say it's unjustified and unacceptable, I actually agree with him. I don't think it's justified to do these sorts of attacks. And I guess depending on the situation. Now, if they've been attacking like military targets specifically and isolated just to military targets, sure, there's an argument to be had. This is a game you play. But I would assume probably not. And I mean, even then, it's kind of like I'd prefer they didn't. So I guess I would generally characterize this as unjustified and unacceptable. But it's just when you put that in the context of if the shoe was on the other foot, that generic conservative thing, they would be saying that, hell, look at the perfect examples, all the stuff going on in Lebanon that we talked about yesterday. Like, I guarantee you, they all say that's justified and acceptable. Justified and acceptable, and they all were like, a lot of these same people were super hyped about, like, look how fucking cool this is. It's like, dude, this is terrorism all the same. Like, but yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Iran doing this, but I'm also not a fan of Israel doing that. So, guys, cut the shit. Yeah, let me pop back into the chat. See. Got some more people here. GBPP, sundown city towns ended in the 1950s, 75 years ago. Sundown towns. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what you mean by sundown towns. Yeah, I had to end that episode Gates did with Dave. Dylan says, I mean, it was worthwhile. I mean, you figured out, I don't know. Live chat is being chopped up. It stopped showing me all chat after my comment. I've had chat stuff do weird stuff like that. Just exit out and come back into the stream or something. It does weird shit like that. Donald Rumsfeld drew some rockets on a paper, and that's all the proof I need. Yeah, there you go. Just like with Lebanon before they started doing all this. There were these, they showed these diagrams of fucking cruise missiles inside apartment complexes, which I don't know. Maybe they are. It just seems ridiculous. You're like, oh, you showed me a picture. I'm going to take your fucking word for it. Dylan, I honestly thought Gates was better than that. Yeah, no, Gates has this tendency, like, I can't remember other examples, but I just know there's been other times where I'm like, Generally speaking, honestly, one of the best litmus tests, and don't get me wrong, I guess there are some people that can just fall into this trap just because this is just what they've been inundated with their entire life, and they don't really know otherwise. But generally, I'd say Israel's probably one of the best litmus tests, because it really just shows, like, if this is someone who's challenged their thought, they've thought deeply, and if they've fallen on the right side of the issue. And I don't mean they have to be like, I hate Israel, but it's like the idea that we're funding them. If you're someone you're inflexibly, I stand with Israel, we must support Israel. Israel is our greatest ally. Then no, that's kind of really one of the best litmus tests out there, in my opinion. If you're saying that, then I'm just sorry, you're just not really. I'm not saying you're a bad guy, but I'm saying you're not worthwhile to be lauded, if that makes sense. Because it's like you're too dumb or you're too corrupted. One of the two. And maybe not even dumb's the right way to put it, because you can be someone who's not a critical thinker and not be dumb, so I don't know, just someone who hasn't really questioned their dogma they've been taught throughout life. Oh, see, Fire Pixie. Hey, Fire Pixie, how you doing? I talked about you a little bit at the beginning. Let me know if you guys, let me know how you're doing. You underestimate how retarded people around you are. Yeah, that's true. But still, at the same time, though, to some extent, it's kind of like, yeah, there's a lot of dumb people, but it's like, of those who actually pay attention, I don't know. And I feel like there's enough people who pay attention that kind of guide the idiot. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of like running game 3 through my head. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't fucking know. All right, let's get into this. All right, as I was mentioning before, I was kind of talking about the concept of how, earlier I was kind of like, hey, no one seemed to give a shit about the whole hurricane situation. And it seems like we've got our wish, but, a little bit of a poison pill here. Let me bring this up for you. Old Lindsey Graham, he, without fail, it's imperative that Congress reconvene to pass a supplemental aid package for the damage done to the southeast by Hurricane Helene, and also to provide missile defense assistance to Israel, which is under attack from the Iranian regime. We need to help our people at home and stand with our allies abroad. And then, yeah, just a little caption of, I don't know where this is from. I'm assuming some article someone wrote that he took it. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham today made the statement urging Congress to reconvene in order to pass a supplemental aid package to fund Hurricane Helene recovery efforts and provide missile defense assistance to Israel in the wake of Iran's large-scale attack. It is imperative that Congress reconvene to pass a supplemental aid package for the damage done in the southeast by Hurricane Helene, also to provide missile defense to Israel, which is under attack from the Iranian regime. We need to help our people at home and stand with our allies abroad. I want the people affected by this terrible storm to see speedy federal relief, and I want Iran to see great resolve when it comes to Congress's willingness to assist Israel. I am reaching out to Republican and Democratic colleagues to put a package together as soon as possible. All right, now this to me is probably one of the most despicable things I've seen. And don't get me wrong, I guess this guy's a shameless cunt. Like, he's a little fucking effeminate leprechaun. Little war pig, but like, I don't know. This is just wild to try to slip in after the complaints been no one gives a shit about this, and it's like, okay, well, we'll give a shit if you want to give a shit about Israel. That's kind of what it comes across. And I'm not even saying I even really necessarily want supplemental aid. I don't know. I mean, that might be something I have to think about, but to the idea that you're going to slip this in with a to provide more aid to Israel is a bit of a slap in the face. Like, after all this, just no, we'll help you, but you got to fund our war. And that's what we need from you. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to say about that anymore, but yeah, I just found that to be very despicable. Also just seems like the obvious, like, I'm not at all surprised that's, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's just Lindsey Graham, so that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the case. He seems to be, on the, if you have a little fucking dial, of create like extremism or whatever, he's the one who's always pushing the dial or trying to. So, I mean, whether that happens, I don't know. I kind of doubt that it will fold out like that. That's how it'll unfold. But we'll see. Time will tell. But I wouldn't be surprised. I can tell you that if somehow that's how they do it. I mean, they may be a little bit more, maybe hide from this idea and not really put it on display quite like Graham did, where he very clearly is tying the two. But we'll see. It just seems like a slap in the face for me to try to tie hurricane relief to funding a foreign war that we have no part in. I actually saw, I wish I'd saved this, but Colonel Douglas McGregor, that's the right guy. Yep, I saw a post he shared yesterday that was saying that, not that I guess it really probably makes too much of a difference, because as I actually was talking about last episode, we probably have a nuclear war and they'd still find a way to get our tax money to give to Israel. But apparently we don't have any formal treaties, I guess, with Israel. It's all just kind of like handshake deals and just kind of nice feelings is at least according to him. I don't know how true that is, but so I don't know. Maybe there's a small glimmer of hope. But I don't have a strong feeling for it. Just the idea that, like, as we showed with the Gates of the world, I mean, I don't know, I guess that's a good example, because Gates is one of those ones that you look at, and most people on the right look at and they go, and they generally think he's probably one of the better ones. Like, he's up there in the top 10 with Massey, essentially. Massey is like the pinnacle, and then you have your Rand Pauls, and is probably next after that. But Gates was up there too. But that's just like, that's how sparse like anyone worth a fucking damn is there. And even the ones that are worth a damn, which I guess would be Gates in some examples, is kind of seems to falter where it actually fucking matters. So, I don't know, a bit of a doomer black pill there. But at the same time, I don't know. We also have the people. You have people like Moicano fucking shouting out Hoppe. On fucking, and even, to the example of Milei, even that as well. Like, while I do have my qualms about Milei, just the fact that, I don't know, there's something there. We have two separate things going on. Yeah, by the way, I have Dr. Fortuny, what the hell, morning stream's a new regular thing. No, I explained this in the last episode. I wouldn't say regular. It really is just because of the hurricane right now. I don't have work right now. It's fucked up my work. But also just generally, like, it kind of dawned on me from this hurricane. I'm like, I could do this semi-regularly. So I think what I'm going to try to do going forward, I'm not committing to any specific days, any times, because the way my work works is like literally there'll be days where like we just don't have any work that day. and a lot of times it'll be like a day or two out that I know, so I don't really have a time to usually prepare like a guest or really like an in-depth topic or anything, because I do have a busy life. But it's like a lot of times I'm at home and the wife works nights, so she'll be sleeping, kids won't be around, so it's like I kind of have the house to myself. So hey, I might as well fucking do it. I'm stuck here, not able to work, so may as well do a stream. Is you just kind of talk to you guys, go over the news of the day that I've kind of seen on Twitter, maybe go through a few articles that I wanted to read anyways, and just kind of go over them with you, stuff like that. Just kind of talk to you guys. So I would say, if I had to guess the tempo of how often this would be, I would say once a week to once every other week, and completely random. I may try to give you guys a heads up, but yeah. And for my patrons out there, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know if you guys can think of a way to create some sort of incentive for you guys, because I mean, I do want you guys to get your pay, but also part of the reason why I'm able to do these is because they're just kind of spur of the moment. So, kind of like posting on Patreon and like setting up like I normally do, or paywalling it. It's just not really, it's not something I can do just like quick on the fly. But just throwing this up, and also I'll be covering a lot of like current events type stuff too on these streams. So, not really something you want to paywall, but, yeah. So, I mean, for patrons out there, let me know if there's something, but you do still get you can be a talking head on Already Dead. In the call-in portion, you also get the early episodes. So yeah, for those who want to support, you can still do that, and I do appreciate it. I mean, as I said, I'm not salary, so I'm not making money right now. The little bit I get from you guys does help here and there. You'd be surprised when it does help round out the edges. So but yeah, let's go through a couple more things. Probably end this one maybe a little bit earlier today. You got an update on the I'm gonna brain fart. Having an update on the son, the Trump assassin shit. And here's another Ken post, or Ken article. Go ahead and read this with you guys. Son of failed Trump assassin released on bond, pleads not guilty to child porn charges. Yeah, because for those who've been following along, they'll know the son weirdly seemed to get also charged with child porn. Get child porn charges around this same time. I guess here you go. It says law enforcement started investigating around 2023. So we're gonna get some more information here. I guess Ken was at the trial, or at the courthouse, I guess. So he'll have some inside information for us. Orrin Alexander Routh, 35, the son of failed Trump assassin Ryan Routh, pled not guilty on Tuesday to possessing child pornography, and a federal judge released him from pretrial detention. U.S. District Judge L. Patrick Aould's decision to release the younger Routh went against the Justice Department's urging and followed a spirited hearing, during which Routh's mother and FBI agent Garrett Fu both testified. Okay, so the release the young one against the... Okay, so the Justice Department supposedly is posturing to want to keep him, and they're not the... It's the judge that said otherwise. All right. The hearing started with the mother, Laura Routh, testifying that she'd serve as a suitable third-party custodian for her son. Prosecutors expressed skepticism, asking the mother about Orrin's allegedly abusive behavior. Laura Routh said she'd make sure her son followed all the conditions of his release, including remaining inside, attending all hearings, and staying off drugs. I think we'll be just fine, she said. FBI agent Fu, who signed the criminal complaint for Orrin, then testified about the gruesome details of Orrin's case. According to Fu, the FBI found more than 20 devices linked to Orrin. At least 2 were I need to stop saying actually the word. Because I'm probably boosting myself. At least 2 were found to contain CP. There you go. And the Bureau is continuing to search the others, he said. All right, 20 devices linked to Orrin. All right, well, I don't know. I guess I've never been in the CP world, so I don't really know if that's standard procedure, but that seems a little weird. But, all right, Fu described horrific child abuse videos on Orrin's phone, including one of a child as young as 3 years old being abused. Ugh. Fu said there were hundreds of CP videos on Orrin's phones. Fu also recounted Orrin's lengthy history of misdemeanor crimes, the most serious being the assault on his ex-girlfriend in 2016. In that case, he was given a deferred prosecution agreement. However, he failed by committing another crime, taking the same girlfriend's phone and running off with it when she threatened to call the police on him for drunken driving. It was also revealed that Orrin was under investigation for possessing CP since late last year when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, flagged a video allegedly on his phone. NCMEC passed that tip along to Guilford County Sheriff's Office, which visited his mother's home in February. By the way, I think that's the National Center that has like all of the CP that like the government gets a hold of, which is wild. And that's a rabbit hole on of its own, where like it's a lot of people's like, oh, well, that's how you plant it. And it's wild that like, hey, these people have a repository of it, which I mean, at the same time, it's also like, even if you were doing this properly, I guess you would save it, because I guess there'd be times maybe other videos show up and you got to cross-reference it to, find out, to track them. Like anyone who's read the Chicken Hawk book, was the Eye of the Chicken Hawk, they go into like snuff stuff, and that is a big part of it, like tracking, trying to figure out which kids and watch, which I'm not at all jealous of the people who have to do that do that sort of investigating. But yeah, I'm just saying, point being, it's a little wild that, holy shit, there's a repository for that. And there's also the flip side of like, is there some shenanigans going on? I think we've seen examples that may show that to be the case. I mean, I could probably come back to you with some. I don't really have any off the top of my head. Obviously, the one that we keep bringing up is the Vegas shooter and the Vegas shooter's brother, both with that. Although, I mean, this was back like a year ago they were looking into this. So I don't know if maybe this is just completely separate. It does seem weird, though. At the time, Orrin's mother told law enforcement she didn't know her son's address. She did tell Orrin that the sheriff's office was looking for him, but he never contacted law enforcement. In any event, the sheriff's office executed a search warrant on Orrin's phone after receiving the NCMEC tip and found neither the originally flagged video nor any other evidence of CP. Okay, so once they did the search warrant, they didn't find any more. It's not clear whether the FBI knew about the NCMEC CP tip before searching his home earlier this month in relation to his alleged assassination plot. So it's unclear whether the FBI knew about this before searching. Okay. Agent Fu initially said he knew about the NCMEC tip before changing his testimony to say that he only found out afterward. Okay, so the FBI only became aware of this, it sounds like, afterward, at least this agent specifically. So I don't know, maybe the other agents, this seems to be the one they're implying is handling the case. So okay, he only found out about this after. So, and how this started in the first place, I guess, I'm just kind of working through this in my head as I'm going through this with you guys. NCMEC, this repository of CP, apparently flagged a video on his phone. I don't know how they would flag it. That's weird, but I mean, I don't know. Okay. I guess maybe might be important later. How would they even flag a video? How are they? I mean, I guess, I don't know. Whatever, nerd stuff, I'm assuming. I guess that's beyond me. You guys know I'm not a tech guy. Either way, DOJ prosecutor Eric Iverson used the mother's lack of knowledge about her son's whereabouts to imply that she was not a suitable custodian. The DOJ also hammered Orrin for the drugs found at his home, which included ketamine, MDMA, and cocaine. Orrin's defense attorney responded by stressing that the drugs found were in smaller quantities for personal use, not for dealing. However, Judge Owl agreed with the defense and with the probation officer's recommendation that Orrin be released on strict conditions. He's on total lockdown, as his defense attorney put it, and is barred from the internet. Orrin has been a stage rigger for a firm called Stage Company before his arrest. It was said in court that he traveled around the country as well as overseas to build stages for concerts. No one said where overseas Orrin has worked. Orrin was still being processed out of his pretrial detention as of the publication of this article. All right, and yeah, this is written by Ken, obviously, Ken Silva. All right, total lockdown. I will say I do find it interesting that by default he has been taken out of commenting on this situation. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously that would entail that they've been they've done this since 2013, but I also don't know how we know that about this NCMEC tip. Are they able to make these post hoc, make these things up? Like, I don't know. I mean, are we supposed to just take? I mean, I don't know. Gets into the weeds. I'm sure this is nerd stuff, but point being, I don't know. Just always seems weird. What a weird thing. But I don't know. I mean, I guess at the same time, like, let's be real. Like, someone who did this sort of thing, probably not too stable. Although, even then, when you get into the second assassin, which we will get into tomorrow with Ken, I mean, shit, that dude glows. So it's like, just that alone. So now his son, by extension, is glowing. I mean, obviously, all we really have is the CP stuff that is like, what's going on. So, I mean, I guess he could just be into CP. That could be his thing. But it's just like, adding this to everything else, you're like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? All right. All right, let's get back to the chat, see what you guys have to say. Yes, I got a semi-regular, yeah. Second morning stream is already more than Cole's Culture Corner. Yes, suck it, Cole. By the way, for those, I mean, that's a reference to Tower Gang. I'm streaming this to Tower Gang as well as to my Rumble channel and to No Way Jose. So if you're one of those Tower Gang people, follow. I don't know. I may as well keep streaming it to Tower Gang, but I don't know if I will forever. So, I mean, I'm also not changing the title after the fact or anything. It's just going to say No Way Jose Morning Stream. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, consider subscribing over on No Way Jose. Also, just letting you know it may not always be there on Tower Gang. But I'm just letting you guys know it's there. Yeah, Cole's Culture Corner was a little thing Cole was trying to do for a while. But, yeah. Seems like the FBI just drops kitty stuff on your laptop if you ever speak out against the establishment. Yeah, sure does, doesn't it? This shit sounds super sus all the way around. The bad part is it could easily go either way. Total weirdo family or CIA family squad. And you know what? Those aren't, necessarily separate things. That is one thing I've seemed to notice in my digging into this world is these are almost the same thing. Like, these CIA people are not normally well-adjusted people. And even then, the well-adjusted people are just well-adjusted to manipulating people. And even then, a lot of times they're... I mean, I guess I'm speaking super-duper proudly, because it's like, what are you doing in the CIA? But, like, it does seem to attract... who was that? Nick Bryan I had on that we talked about this, and he said, yeah, it's basically like... I mean, I don't know the exact quote, but it's like, yeah, these are the kind of people, you're bringing in. It makes sense. These are going to be unsavory people. Like... I mean, these are a lot of people, I mean, especially when it comes to the informant game, asset game, it gets even worse, but, even CIA as well. I mean, the kind of people that get sucked into this, a lot of times, fucking weirdos. Yeah. I've been meaning to ask you, someone like you about this, do you think they use a public CP charge thing as part of the witness protection service where they destroy your old identity? That's an interesting idea. I don't feel like that'd be a good idea, though. Like, why would you want to draw that much attention to someone? I'm guessing what you're saying is the idea is that someone nukes your first name by saying you're a pedo everywhere. To that way, it's like that identity is no longer usable. I just feel like that would bring too much heat to whatever the original identity. I don't know. It's probably where they destroy your old identity. Yeah, that'd be something. I mean, I don't know. Jesus, I'd be pissed as hell if I was the witness protection service. And I was like, yeah, I know I didn't want to use that name anymore, but Jesus Christ, I still have the same face, dude. Like, that's not something I want to be carrying around with me. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting idea. It doesn't seem to pass the sniff test for me, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. Imagine being framed as a pedo because your retard brother tried to kill the president. I think it was his son, but still, yeah. I don't know if you're mixing up the Vegas shooter. Yeah, the Vegas shooter was his brother that got busted for CP. That's the Federal Reserve's Fort Knox. Our economy runs on CP bonds. No, it really does. It seems to be that way. There's a lot of this foreign policy, or what is it? The liberal world order. That's what it's backed up by. What is up? Hi, howdy, yo. What's up, big hands? I see you around. But yeah, I don't know, I guess let's go through one more thing and we'll get out of here. Probably maybe skim through this. I found this interesting. I have a mutual of mine. That this isn't the first time I've seen this happen, but he's running for, what is he running for? I don't even know what he's running for. Senate. I know I'm a piece of shit. But he's a mutual of mine. I've tossed around the idea of bringing him on, but I just don't really have an idea of like what I would do for a solo episode. I don't know. And you guys, for anyone who really knows my takes or my thoughts, really has been following me for a while, especially back in the theory, I just generally just kind of don't put a lot of energy into the electoral stuff. I just think it's mostly just fucking a game. Like, I mean, if there's any takeaway you should have got from the discussion today, like we were talking about Matt Gaetz and stuff, and then Lindsey Graham, it's like, this is all like basically WWE bullshit. Like, even the good guys, it's like, but to be very clear, I'm not including, I'm not calling this guy like, controlled or op or, the faking or anything. I mean, this guy right here, this photo, this guy probably, the Hovd guy. But we'll get into it a little bit more. But Leaguer, I think is his name. And he was actually tangentially, I think, connected with the Whitmer kidnapping stuff. So that's where the relevance comes in. But I guess him, and there was another guy too. I can't remember his name, that ran for some other political. So some of these guys that got busted or actually end up getting off from the Michigan the Whitmer stuff, and a couple of them are running for office. And I guess that's cool. I mean, I don't know. I have mixed thoughts on it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe something comes to this. Maybe I'm jaded. I don't know. I'm just not really someone that personally myself, I'm going to put too much energy in this. I mean, I'll comment on it because I find it interesting and stuff. I kind of show how the state operates. I mean, I hope these guys get into, the best situations they can and somehow make a difference. But I don't know. I just don't see it. But I mean, maybe on a local level, which he is doing in the Senate, so I don't know, that might make a difference. But all right, whatever, let's get into this. David Steinglass, a wealthy donor, has supported scores of Democrats running for office and calls him an activist for transgender rights. Oh yeah, the Democratic donors prop up far-right candidates, including Wisconsin gun activists and Senate race. I don't think I read the title to you guys. All right, so his donation earlier this year to a far-right candidate in Wisconsin's U.S. Senate race seemed wildly out of character. He gave the maximum $3,300 to help get a man on the ballot who had these items in his background. He was investigated in the plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. He is a gun rights activist, and he has called for banning some gender-affirming treatments for minors. Oh, no. By the way, I really feel like shit now that I didn't, but I should have, when I realized I was going to cover this, I should have brought up Radix's new trailer. Everyone, go, if you're on Twitter or on social media or whatever, go find Radix on there and try to, if you can, go share her trailer. She's been making some waves with that. She's got her second trailer for a documentary. She's looking for more donations and stuff. She's still moving. She's still making things happen. Hopefully she can get this out as soon as possible, because there are still guys behind bars, for this, and it's wrong. Obviously you go check out Radix's work, Julie Kelly's work, Ken Silva's work. If you really want, on YouTube, go to my YouTube, go to playlists, and there is a Michigan. I don't remember what it's titled, but you'll see. There's a photo of Gretchen Whitmer as the thumbnail for the playlist, but it's like, Whitmer kidnapping or something along those lines. So I've done quite a few episodes on that. So if you do want to get the rundown on that, but it's very clear when you dig into that like basically these guys didn't do nothing, like for real, like they didn't. So that was one of the things that blew me away the most. Is the more I looked into this, I was looking like, come on, there's gonna be some small bit of credence to this, but like even the most minor of things that these feds tried to entrap these guys with, a lot of times they just didn't go with. So they really, really, really had to stretch the truth and play legal warfare with these guys to get any convictions. And despite that, a bunch of them actually end up getting off. And if anything, that should tell you what we're dealing with, because these types of these type of trials usually do not go the way of the defendant. They just don't. But all right, back to the article. Far from an anomaly, the donation is part of a larger design. Steinglass's contribution to America's First candidate Thomas Leaguer and thousands more he and his wife gave to other far-right independents in key congressional races is supporting a plan to boost Democrats and siphon votes from Republicans, an Associated Press examination found. As the election cycle enters an urgent final 5 weeks, both Democrats and Republicans are engaging in questionable tactics that threaten to subvert the democratic process by trying to shape the ballot through deceptive means. Whether it's congressional or presidential races, this kind of activity is a real problem and undermines the functioning of democracy, said Edward B. Foley, a law professor who leads the Ohio State University's election law program. Leaguer told the AP that he was recruited last year to run by operatives who said they were with the Patriots Run Project. That group promoted itself as a pro-Trump grassroots movement that attacked both parties and urged conservatives to run for office as independents. The AP found the group was supported by Democratic firms and donors who worked to install several pro-Trump independent candidates in key House races. Most of them were disabled, retired, or both. Who worked to install several pro-Trump independent candidates in key... Okay. So the accusation is here is that they're trying to... The Democrats are trying to help out Trump? Okay. Records show Democrats have given tens of thousands of dollars seeking ballot access for the far-right candidates. Supporters include Steinglass's wife, Liz, who have given more than $5 million to support Democratic political groups and others who have contributed to and work for Democratic candidates. All right, so this is, full honesty. I've told you these. I'm going to go through a lot of these stuff with you guys. This is my first time going through this. So it sounds like they're complaining that the Democrats are pulling a Pied Piper strategy again, like they did with Trump, is what I'm getting from this, which, whatever. If they want to do that, great. I don't give a shit. I don't know. I mean, I guess I also, like I said, talked to you guys before, I don't really care, and that, like, I don't really, get too worked up by electoral politics. But at the same time, if the Democrats want to fund something that's so super duper bad, even though we're like, it's not that bad, as some sort of like idea that the populace isn't going to go for it when it seems like they don't have a very good beat on the pulse of America, as they didn't when it came to Trump when they tried the Pied Piper strategy before. All right, whatever, go for it. I guess I just don't really care. While the strategy hasn't always worked, Leaguer is among the candidates who qualified for the November 5th ballot and could complicate Republicans' efforts to reclaim the Senate. He's running as a right-wing alternative to GOP nominee Eric Hovde, who is challenging two-term Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. Okay, so the incumbent is Tammy, and this is the person running. So their issue is clearly that, Leaguer is going to steal this guy's thunder. All right. The AP's findings triggered a criminal investigation in Iowa and prompted a conservative group to file a legal complaint with the Federal Election Commission, alleging that it violated political disclosure laws. The Patriot Runs project came under scrutiny after the AP reported that one of its candidates in a House race in Iowa suspected he'd been tricked and removed his name from the ballot last month. The man, Joe Widerine, who was impaired after suffering a stroke, said an Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation agent visited him last week and he filed an election fraud complaint. Whoever it is, I think that project is going down sooner or later, said Widerine, who was among several recruited to run through the group's network of now shuttered Facebook pages. All right, so the idea is this Patriots Run project, which, I mean, whatever. We're getting into the weeds with this. It's not a registered business, blah, blah, blah. Liz Steinglass declined comment when the reporter visited her at her family's house. Her husband, retired, didn't return message. Okay, so the couple has given at least 9,900 to 3 candidates who said they were recruited by the Patriots Run project. Okay, cool. And whatever. The Steinglass, I guess if I was a Democrat, I'd be upset. I guess I'm not the target audience here. When an operative for Patriot Run project called him last summer, urged him to enter the Senate race in Wisconsin, Leaguer said he told the group that he would be a controversial candidate because of association with some of the men charged in the 2020 plot to kidnap Whitmer. He was not among several defendants charged in state and federal court, and he has said he never discussed plans to kidnap her. I guess, I don't know. This might be, I don't know. I guess I don't think any of them really did when I think about it. I mean, there might have been guys who kind of said stupid drunk things or kind of like, what the hell? But, from my digging into this, I don't even recall any of the guys saying anything like that. And if it was, it would just be like someone was drunk or stoned and goofing around or fucking around. Like, I don't know. Not anything serious. Court documents show he was around among 16 others listed by the Michigan Attorney General's office as an unindicted co-conspirator. But the Patriots Run project nonetheless arranged $20,000 in donations from Democratic donors to gather the signatures needed to qualify for the ballot, which went to a firm that usually works for Democrats. All right, let's run through that real quick. they're bitching this guy. He was an unindicted co-conspirator. Okay, that means nothing. That means they chose not to prosecute him. So, I mean, this legally means nothing. All right. Leaguer was subpoenaed to testify at a 2022 trial for 4 defendants, and he exercised his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination after a judge found he had legal exposure. A prosecutor said at that hearing that Leaguer was under investigation for a similar plot, including involving a different politician, had encouraged violence against the FBI on his podcast, and had invited armed protesters to appear outside a courthouse in an effort to intimidate jurors. Leaguer has denied supporting violence. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say doubt for all these. Under investigation for a similar plot, has encouraged violence against the FBI in his podcast. I'm sure you could probably get the same for me. I mean, I'm sure I've said something that you could take out of context. I'm not going to encourage violence, but like, I don't know, I'm not upset about it. Like, I don't know, I guess I prefer it didn't, but I don't know, I'm definitely not encouraging it, but I've definitely probably made jokes. And armed protesters appear outside a courthouse. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys have done the armed protesting stuff, and a lot of places that's legal. So, I don't know. All right. Leaguer is a former executive director of Wisconsin Gun Owners Incorporated, which takes a maximalist position in the Second Amendment. Good. In 2020, he organized protests for Reopen Wisconsin, which included armed demonstrations opposing government closures and mandates intended to curb the spread of COVID-19. Sounds like a good guy. If I was going to waste my afternoon and vote in this area, this would probably be my guy. Through his activism, he became acquainted with Steve Robeson, with whom he later broke ties with after correctly suspecting he was an FBI informant. Yeah, Robeson was like the big fucking cunt in all this. Where investigators alleged the idea of attacking government officials was discussed. Leaguer said he was an associate of alleged kidnapping plot leader Perry Croft, which that's bullshit. He was not the kidnapping plot leader. That's how they always try to frame him. That was nonsense. He was a homeless dude living in the basement of a vacuum repair shop. So, I mean, I guess technically that's a home if you really want to think about it. But point being is this was no leader. He was basically conned into it as being the quote unquote leader by a lot of the, like, say, for example, Robeson and some of the other informants. Hell, there were plenty of people. I've had more than just, I don't know if I've had more than just one guy on or not. I don't know. It may have just been, why can't I think of his name right now? I'm such a piece of shit. I've talked to him a bunch. Brandon Caserta. I've had him on multiple times, and like, that's, yeah. And I feel like I must have had somebody else on, but either way, I've also had Radix on. But yeah, I never got the impression that, sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit there. Leaguer tended to. Yeah, so he broke contact with it. Oh, I was bitching about how they characterized Barry Croft as a plot leader. No, or actually, you know what? I mixed him up with Adam Fox. Sorry, Barry, if you're out there. I believe it was Adam Fox was the one sleeping in. Although it's weird they're calling Barry the plot leader. Maybe I'm mixing up names, but one of them I feel like they tried to call him like the spiritual leader or some nonsense, which was like meant nothing. They were just kind of saying like, oh, he, I don't know, provides morale or some shit, if I remember the case correctly. It's been a while since I've gone over this. I know between Barry and Adam, like one they propose as the actual leader, the feds, and the other one they kind of proposed as like a spiritual leader or something, or some sort of, I forget the term they used, essentially implying that he was kind of like for camaraderie purposes or something. I don't fucking know. It was nonsensical. It was just their way of trying to have their cake and eat it too. And I think that was Barry. So maybe I'm mixing these up, but either way, point being is neither of them was really like the leader. Croft argues he was entrapped by government informants and seeking for a new trial. I was a Wisconsin target for the FBI in the Whitmer case. We just happened to slip through their nets, Leaguer said in March in the Freeman Report. Show he streams on Rumble. Leaguer said, and by the way, those Freeman Report guys, those were one of the first people covering Whitmer stuff. They were covering it before me. I'm not sure if they were covering it before Radix, but just to give credit where credit's due, these guys were covering it way back when. They were, I believe I was watching some of their shows to spin myself up on it when I first started covering it forever ago. They're up there. And actually, I think, you know what? They actually probably were covering from the very beginning. I think some of those guys may have been involved. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the layout of the people over there. So either way, they were covering it super duper early. Leaguer said an operative calling himself Johnny Shearer told him Patriots Run Project has seen his work and he was the exact type of candidate they wanted, saying that his group was impressed that I had not caved under pressure from the feds. Yeah, I'm impressed too. 6 donors gave Leaguer the maximum $3,300 donation. Yeah, this was David Seinglass, Richard Thompson, Joe Fox, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I'm kind of bored with all this money stuff. All right, small network of Democratic donors. All right. Leaguer said he was suspicious a little bit of the group's motives, but the ultimate didn't care. I was like, if this gets me in the ballot, that's the main point. Yeah, I want to get in the game. Like, whatever, someone's giving you money. Who gives a shit? Leaguer said the Patriots Runs project had no other real influence on his campaign, but he was angry to have been misled. Okay, yeah, I mean, he's misled that they were like kind of Democrats, but man, whatever. At the end of the day, it's like these guys, if they're trying the Pied Piper strategy, I mean, hey, if there's some commies out there who want to give me money, or I guess people who believe the official narrative of the Oklahoma City bombing and they want to give me money, sure, I'm not changing my message, but yeah, whatever. If you think somehow amplifying my voice will in some way bring you what you want, I completely disagree. That will. Go for it. Give me money. I'm all for it. So, hey, feds out there, give me money. Yeah, try the Pied Piper strategy with me. See how that works. But yeah, I mean, whatever. Good on Leaguer for getting that money. I don't think, from my impression of him, that they somehow had him captured, that he's some sort of, controlled op for the Democrats. I think it was more of a likely something along the lines of a Pied Piper strategy. I'm not even entirely convinced of this whole money nonsense. This seems like contrived bullshit to me, but whatever. Hovde has alleged publicly that Leaguer is a Democrat plant intended to take votes from him. Yeah, if anything, if I had to guess, I would say this is probably more or less contrived in that sense. Or maybe based on such a small little grain of truth, they blew it out of proportion. I'm not sure. Whatever. I don't really care. I wish I could remember. I know this Hovde guy is kind of a blue-pilled fag. So I definitely, Leaguer's a dude here. I mean, hopefully, as I said, I'm pretty jaded when it comes to electoral politics, but I mean, hey, whatever. We got a good guy here. So just letting you guys know. And I just found it funny that these guys, look at this Michigan guy. They're trying to say I'm some kind of Democratic operative, which is silly because I am more conservative than Hovde is. And yeah, I agree. All right, guys. Let me check into the StreamYard. Oh, I got a raid. Oh shit. I guess I have a few to go through here. Oh fuck, man, you guys blew this up a second ago, huh? Damn it, you guys. Siphoning votes is a red herring. Yeah, it's nonsense. As a libertarian, I've been told I'm taking away votes from one side or the other, yet I'm just voting for LP candidates. I mean, whatever. Nephilim Death Squad has raided the stream. Hell yeah. Are they doing a timeline cleanse right now? If so, hey, what's up? What's up, my buddy? David. I don't know why I couldn't think of your name. I'm having weird brain farts today, guys. All right. Good morning. Very racist. Good morning. Fags incoming. Yeah, they're here. Pull them kitties out. Dangerous retards. Can you talk more quiet? I'm sorry, guys. It feels weird in this wide open area. I know my wife's sleeping in the room, but I'm not going to wake her up. She's got plenty of white noise. It just feels weird being loud for no reason in the middle of the house. I don't know. I'm talking at volume as I would to someone else. I don't know. Whatever. I'm here for the read. Put a raid. I put a girl on. I did last night. There was a girl who called into already dead. I got a N tower. Ooh, you pulled it off. Good job, guys. Oh, actually, no, you didn't. You tripled up on the G's. You fucked up. Hardest of ours. Show your boobs. Did Kevin ever? I'm not showing your boob. Okay, here's boobs, guys. All right, this content sucks. Fuck you, Doc. Fuck you. What do you always come in here? I mean, whatever. Keep coming in. Who cares? Jose, good morning. Jose B is not viewer friendly. He's funny when he wants to be, though. Well, Jesus Christ, man. What's that? I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult. I think he should trim his mustache a little more narrow every week till the rest of the Tower Gang notices. Yeah, not a bad idea. Redbeard says, Jose. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess, guys, I'm probably going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys showing up, bearing with me, shooting the shit. Before we get out of here, I'm gotta fucking bring this up. All right. I do want to let you guys know about our buddies over at Ado Shave Co. If you're tired of razor burn irritation, these are your guys. You can go back to traditional shave. You don't need expensive nonsense. This is high quality stuff. You can shave just like your grandpa used to. Whether you're shaving your whole face or just edging, the single blades give you a barber grade shave for a fraction of the price. The standard issue with 100 stainless steel blades and the safety razor comes at about $75. That should last you for the entire year. Let's be real though, it's probably gonna last you a lot longer. Now, if you do shave in the regular, like you're someone who needs to shave every single day, then I'd recommend getting the Quarter Shave Club. That'll put you about 25 cents per shave. We also got shave lathers and shave soap. You got the 3-in-1 and the shave soap. It's good stuff. I've used both. Great for shaving, smells good, and feels good. I highly recommend it. Go to negoshaveco.com for all your grooming needs. It's a COVID mandate refusing company. This company was born out of refusing the COVID mandate. So, and I do believe they deserve your support for that. And also a solid product. It's a better shave, and it's a more economic shave. It's use Jose for 10% off your entire order. All right, guys, let me see. Anything else? Ooh, edging. Didn't No shave his Twitter or delete his Twitter? Yeah, I saw that he did. I hit him up and he said he was fine. So I don't know. As soon as a person starts doing ads, I lose trust in them. They're selling themselves as a company. No telling when they'll sell out to others. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I know I'm working for Big Shave or Little Shave these days. I mean, whatever. I gotta get money where I can. If you guys want to give me money, cool. I mean, if you don't, I don't know. I mean, I get where you're coming from. There's a good point to be had there. But I mean, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. If you guys have been following me long enough, I make a few $100 off this. I don't really fucking grift as hard as I really should. So I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not really one that's going to be too super duper swayed. But hey, if there's anyone out there who wants to give me a shitload of money to say, say vaccines are amazing, I don't know. I'll do it in wink, I guess. I have no idea. But I don't know. I don't think anyone's interested in co-opting me. I definitely do not play the game properly like I'm supposed to. So it is what it is. But yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I don't know. It's a delicate balancing act, I think. I mean, definitely it's preferable to be funded by you guys. So, if you guys want to support me, that's patreon.com. Just No Way Jose 2020. I do read off my sponsors every episode. Just as a, ode to them. I do also want to let you guys know that actually I mentioned it earlier, but the perks you guys get early episodes. You also are able to, pop in as a, talking head alongside us in Already Dead. But yeah, I do want to give a shout out to my sponsors. It's the highest level. The lowest level is $2 though. So, pretty cheap, and you get pretty much everything you need there, and help support me, so I don't have to sell out to big shave. But yeah, if you do, I do want to give a shout out to my sponsors. I have Toad, who's my co-host on Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Toad. I also have at Abracate D's, at ZOVERCK, at _ Infinite Zeal, and I have Jacob Daniel of the Biblical Anarchy podcast, at Biblical Anarchy. And then I have Tim Tuttle at Jolly on Klebold, the homie. And then I have Will Bell, that makes this delicious blueberry wine called Rabbit Eye Wine. But yeah, with that, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Tell me how you guys like these. Also, keep in mind for the Tower Gang peeps, you guys can pop in ideas to cover on here. I think this will probably be the last one this week. I've done 3 this week. This is ridiculous. Yeah, this will probably be the last one week unless something crazy pops up. But with that, I'm getting out of here. Appreciate you guys for showing up.